so moving on, we're going to be discussing Harry Potter, the reunion special. 20 years since the first film. It's been that long. Wow.
Damn, I
Woof.
can't whistle.
Oh, that was
Anyway.
rough. Holy shit. Yeah.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah,
worry.
shit, I cannot whistle.
We'll edit that. Don't worry. I'll get the guy to edit that. Don't worry. Make it sound
All right.
just like from the movie. I'll ask him to edit that out. All right. So yeah, here it's been 20 years since Philosopher's Stone came out. The first movie, which is directed by Christopher Columbus, who directed Philosopher's Stone and The Chamber of Secrets.
Hmm.
So it has some of the different directors from the movies come back, like Alfonso Cuarón, who did Prisoner of Azkaban. It also has Mike Glenwell, who did the Goblet
Yeah,
of
yeah,
Fire.
Mike Newell, who directed Goblet of Fire, and David Yates, who did Order of the Phoenix all the way till The Last Deathly Hallows.
Yep. And the special is broken up into sections where it discusses
Hmm.
each of the two of each of the the 8 movies. So it's like first it's like okay the first 2 movies, then it moves on to the next 2 movies, then it moves on to the next 2 movies. So it kind of breaks it up into sections. Here you of course you have the big trio who returns: Daniel Radcliffe and Emma Watson and Rupert Grint, who played Harry, Ron, and Hermione, who's the big trio of the movies. You also have Helena Bonham Carter, who is Bellatrix Lestrange. You have Gary Oldman, who's Sirius Black. You also have the entire Weasley family who appears in this as well, minus the mother, Julia Walters, who was the mother. She doesn't appear here. But everyone else, Jeannie Weasley, Fred, and what's the other? Fred and Ron.
George.
George.
James and yeah,
George.
James and George Phelps, the Phelps twins.
Yeah. So they're back. Some notable people that aren't here, like Maggie Smith. She was Professor McGonagall. She's not here. Michael Gambon, who is Albus Dumbledore, who replaced Richard Harris, who passed away after the first 2 movies. Who took on the role of Dumbledore. He's not here as well. So that was kind of a notable kind of people that were kind of missing there. But it was nice. I don't know how big of Harry Potter fans you guys are, or how much you care about the series of movies or anything like that. Yeah, because I mean, you guys have seen all the movies, right?
Harry Potter. It was a very big part of my childhood. I think one of the first movies I saw in theater. It was either the first Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, or it was Harry Potter and Sorcerer's Stone. And I pretty much saw every single movie after that in theaters opening night. And yeah, I did the cons, super excited when they opened the Harry Potter world at Universal, saw all the movies, read all the books cover to cover multiple times. So yeah, I'm a little bit of a big Potter fan.
Dusk, what about you?
I remember vividly people talking about the books before any of the movies had come out in my school at the time. People talking about don't read that has satanic aspects to it. There are witches and warlocks in it, and that I remember the panic that was initially over it. Not necessarily in my household, but I remember that part of it. And then the movies came out. I didn't realize how nostalgic I was over these. I've seen all of the movies, and the last few in theaters directly I ever can remember. The rest on and off, but I did see them in theaters. I didn't remember. I didn't think I was going to be nostalgic over it, but when I started watching this documentary and the music started playing, I started seeing all these sets. I found myself strangely like, no, I remember a lot of these. I am feeling a little nostalgic over these, and I had almost forgotten how big Harry Potter was in the 90s. How absolutely huge it was, and seeing some of the images, it rekindled long forgotten memories. I'm like, oh my god, I remember that. I remember how big that was. I remember reading the books with my my mother. I remember those aspects of it and how long that's been. And it's like, oh my god, it's been 20 years now. Jeez,
Yeah.
it's the first movie.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a phenomenon. When Harry Potter came out, the books, it was like you couldn't wait to read the next book. Like that was probably one of the first books you read. I mean, as a kid growing up, it was like, one thing, it was Harry Potter was what Star Wars was. I mean, you know what I mean? It was a series of movies that, really impacted the generation very heavily. very influentially for a lot of kids, reading and the movies and things like that. One thing I am disappointed in is they didn't really talk about much about the music. They didn't have John Williams come on and
Oh
talk about the
yeah,
music and the score and everything, because it's a very iconic score, I think. And
it
John
really
Williams
is.
has made a
Yeah,
lot of
it's
iconic
one of
scores.
it's one of the most iconic movie scores of the 2000s.
Yeah.
It,
Yeah.
it's one of his probably his top. It's easily in his top 5, top 10. Just his scores, just overall, specifically his instrumentation. It felt very thematically appropriate, and
Yeah.
Yeah,
they didn't really
yeah,
talk about that.
and that's talking about John Williams, who's did fucking Superman, who
Superman.
did all of the Star Wars films, who did
Yeah.
Indiana Jones.
Yeah. Jaws. Yeah.
Jaws.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's just, he made music that was like, when you hear that music, it's like some wizards are doing some shit. I mean, you know what I mean? He made the perfect music for it. It's like, this is perfectly associated with Harry Potter, and it fits so perfectly. Yeah, so I wish they did talk about that a lot in the series, but they didn't. And they, it's kind of the way they kind of set it up is a little kind of strange, I would say, because they have, to compare it to another special that I really love that we talked about before, the Fresh Prince of Bel Air special that also came on HBO Max. What was great about that, I loved about that special, was that they had really the whole cast sitting around talking, looking at clips from the show, and they would, really kind of get into it and really kind of go back and forth, really talking. This one is kind of broken up where there's some moments where it's Daniel Radcliffe and Emma Watson and Rupert Grint sitting around talking. Then there's another segment where it's Tom Felton, who played Draco Malfoy, Matthew Lewis, who played Neville Longbottom, and there's another actor there as well. I'm blanking on his name right now. But there's kind of the three of them sitting around talking, and then it's Daniel Radcliffe at one moment also going around to different actors like Helena Bonham Carter and Gary Oldman, interviewing them kind of, and them talking about it. I don't know, maybe it was because of COVID reasons, maybe they didn't want to have them all.
I think that was it, because I'd imagine that in London, which had some of the strictest COVID protocols out of
I'm sorry.
Blanked out.
You went out there. What'd you say?
Yeah, I imagine this was filmed like in London, so imagine COVID protocols there were much stricter than they were in the US.
Okay, yeah, because I would have really loved to see kind of all of them really sitting around, really talking and sharing kind of stuff, really tons of stuff back and forth.
I was surprised in that format. They didn't switch it up. They didn't have they didn't have a lot more switch up than I was expecting them to.
Yeah. They also do some one-on-one interviews, just people by themselves, like Ray Fiennes, who was Voldemort.
There's some talking head interviews with Ray Fiennes, a lot of the Mark Williams, who played Arthur Weasley in the film, archived interviews from J.K. Rowling.
Yeah, from 2019. Also Jason Isaac, who was Lucius Malfoy. There's kind of like a one-on-one with him. So
Nice guy.
Yeah, he seems like a cool guy. Yeah. The person who I think I had the most fun watching in this special was Helena Bonham Carter. She seemed like
she had a blast.
She was wonderful. She was like flirting with Dan Radcliffe.
Oh, well, true.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, she's single now.
I guess.
Yeah. Maybe
Interesting.
Yeah.
I like when she was with Tom Fiddleton.
Interesting.
When she's like, "Oh, I stole all this different stuff. I kept all these different things and return it."
All of it.
And he's like, "Oh, I would have done that." He's like, "I wanted to do my wand," and I love her comment, which is like, "Well, dude, you know that doesn't work. This doesn't work.
You know they don't work, right?"
Right. And it's just like, God damn it.
Yeah. She I think she was having the most fun coming back. She even brought her prop of her teeth back. It's like, I haven't worn these for like 12 years. Like, let me see what happens if I put them in. And she's like, really, you gonna put in them old teeth, like just in your mouth like that? It's like, wow, okay, I guess. And I also loved her comment. It was also her and Gary Oldman. They were sitting talking. And then she was like, "Oh yeah, that's right. I killed you in the series." He's like, "Oh yeah, you did." It was like, "Well, it had to be done. It was just so necessary." She was wonderful. I loved her there. I thought the actor who plays Hagrid, I thought he was
Oh, yeah.
great. You know, he's just a
Oh,
jolly.
Robbie Coltrane. He's a jolly old dude.
Yeah, I thought he was really good. Yeah, and them kind of also the Weasley family. I thought that was kind of a lot of great stuff, and them talking about their kind of connection. What did you kind of guys love about the special and love hearing about from the actors?
Really, the thing that stood out was them kind of going back and exploring what was it, even on the production side, that made Harry Potter unique. In so many films, television, you get through production and then it's people you're never going to see again. But for the most part, they kept around everyone down from like the same cast and crew throughout most of the films,
Yeah.
which is kind of a wholly unique situation, especially
Very unheard of.
in a franchise like this.
Yeah.
And it almost seemed like every director from the 2 movies that they initially did down to the last couple that the last director did was more for a cohesiveness of tone.
Yeah, and just how the franchise slowly started to grow up with its readers, and that turn in to an extent in Prisoner of Azkaban and completely into Goblet of Fire, how they almost became full-on horror films at some point.
Yeah. I thought that was a good element. Them kind of breaking down what each film meant for the next, kind of with these characters, and how the first 2 were very kind of like, okay, it was kids and children's kind of adventures and fantasies, and them moving like after Prisoner of Azkaban on, how it was like, okay, things are getting a little bit more serious. Things are getting more darker, and then when they get into the Goblet of Fire, how that was like the first instance of like death that Harry really experienced firsthand, and how that was with Robert Pattinson, who was in the movies as the Cedric character. And some people were talking about like it'd been cool to maybe have him, but he was only in one movie. So I don't really see the necessary need to have him come back because he's only just in that one movie, Goblet of Fire. And when you go back and look at all, because there was a whole list of people like, well, why wasn't this person here? This person. It's like, these are a lot of movies, 8 movies ahead, a lot of different people. And especially like if you were like anybody of note, British actor, you were probably in a Harry Potter movie at that time. Like Emma Thompson.
It was basically the who's who of Jack tree in these movies.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Kenneth Branagh. It was tons and tons of people, in these movies. So but can't bring everybody back, for a lot of this stuff. But I did. Is there anybody that you're kind of disappointed that really didn't come back? Like maybe Maggie Smith or Michael Gambon. Is anybody like you really thought should have really been there?
There's one person
the one I kind of wanted to come back was Brendan Gleeson, who played
Mad Eye Moon. Dusk, what about you?
There's only one person I wanted to see, but it's sadly impossible, and that's the great Alan Rickman. I would have loved for him to have been here, and it's unfortunate. But they did have a really sweet conversation between Daniel Radcliffe and Gary Oldman, where they talked about him, and he's like, I would have loved to have known more about my character from JK, so that I could have had extra. And he's like, Rickman had that, and he's like, no, and he's just telling him that, oh yeah, he would say this, like, why'd you do that? You'll find out later.
I'll tell you later.
I'll tell you later, exactly. And he's just losing it. And it was just a great story. He's like, and he would know that. He would, of course, he would.
Yeah. Did you guys get emotional when they did the whole kind of tribute to all the actors that have passed away since kind of Harry Potter, since the special?
I kind of did.
A little bit, a little bit, especially with when they got into the passing of Richard Harris. I kind of wish they went a little bit more in depth with that, especially after Michael Gambon replaced it in 3 on.
Dusk.
I did. I got a little bit, just in the sense that it's like, oh yeah, all these characters and these great actors that come and gone, and we don't get to really see them again. It was, at least I didn't feel sad Well, I did feel a little bit, but it was more of a. I just kind of felt glad that they were just in something that people remember and that they're being remembered.
Yeah.
And I'm just kind of. It's kind of a mixed feeling, not really, just like bittersweet.
Yeah. It was interesting, also with the series, with the kind of special, getting everybody's kind of different stories. That was nice, and how they got cast, because they get into that as well. How each of the actors got cast for the roles, and I thought that was pretty nice. And I also thought it was nice hearing the directors' perspectives of their films, and talking about them. I thought it was also good, of seeing some of the other kind of side characters a little bit. Also, like the actress who played Luna Lovegood, she makes a return. She talks about how she kind of got the part there, of how they did these huge open casting calls that anybody could really show up, no acting experience necessary, and how she also was a pen pal of J.K. Rowling, and things like that.
She was hilarious and absolutely. When she started talking, I'm like, you are a Luna Lovegood. Just kind of embody her character.
Yeah. She was one of my favorite characters from the series. Her, Nefedora, they were two of my favorite characters from the series. Yeah. Yeah. So I thought that was pretty nice. So do you think that this special is missing something huge by not having J.K. Rowling there?
No.
Do you think the archive? So you think the archive footage was enough?
Yeah, I think the archive footage that they used was because let's be honest, outside of these 7 books, and I'm guessing her limited contributions to the screenplays of these, because she's not a credited writer on any of the films except characters and based on the books by, and we see how her actual screenwriting is and stuff like Fantastic Beasts.
Yeah. Which I do not like those Fantastic Beasts movies.
I like the first one enough. The second one sucks balls.
Yeah. The first one would have been good if they just stopped there, but then they just like, go ahead, Dust.
No, you're right. If they just left well enough alone.
Yeah. Dust, what did you think about J.K. Rowling not being there?
On the one hand, when I saw that little archive footage from 2019 interview, I laughed. I went, very cheeky. Very cheeky.
Yeah, they put that archive footage 2019 like one of the title cards in Captain America: Civil War.
Yeah, they were very specific on that. Hey, this was from 3 years ago, all right? 3 years. Come on, guys. But I think her being mentioned offhand on her creations, on her editions, and her as an author being able to breathe life into this and having her moment speak.
It would have been disingenuous if you didn't have her involved in some way.
Right.
I think in a weird way, having her have limited those moments where she could kind of put her thoughts in there allows her to have that mystique of the auteur and the author. She lets her work speak for itself, but she just adds the little parts here and there. I think that works better than if I had just been there to explain everything. It's like, no, you guys are here to hear how the acting and how all the actors, the composers, the set designs, how everything kind of went through this, and I contributed my part. I created these characters in this world, and then everyone else breathed life into it.
Yeah.
And that's where I can kind of put my hand back and let it go.
Yeah. Because
that's the way I see it.
Yeah, it was interesting hearing them talk about, like, they get into some of the sets and then walking in, like, the Great Hall and all these different, because that's also added to the series as well, and how great that is. And they talked about how the candles, like, those were real candles that were
fishing wire.
Yeah, I thought just
and talk about how if they filmed that now, it would probably be CG.
Yeah. So I thought that was pretty awesome. Them talking about that.
Real stone, real flooring, just very well done. It was right to me. I consider it the golden age, where it's where all the technology we have, CGI limited, with still every practical trick that we've got. Where it's kind of where Lord of the Rings, when that trilogy was made, where they married the two together, and I still don't think that era has really been topped on being able to kind of being embraced into a world quite as much as those movies and made in that era.
Yeah, no, very true. Yeah, and I think a great collection of movies. I think the first two going back, I mean, they're very, kiddie kind of stuff, a little bit of the philosophy.
They're very they're very children's films, but I think that's the point.
Yeah.
The first two films are very much this kind of whimsical, childlike adventure, and then from 3 on, it's more about growing up and learning that, hey, there are actual stakes. And the fourth movie hits where they kill one of the more sympathetic characters right away. It's like saying hey, no one's safe anymore.
Yeah. And they do. Yeah, they get kind of more serious. And Prisoner of Azkaban is my favorite of the Harry Potter films.
100%.
Yeah, I think generally that's considered one of the best ones of the films. And here the call I'll talk about it again is very, very impressive. Any big downsides for you with this special?
Big downsides.
Besides it not being another hour long and not seeing other people just talk amongst themselves in groups and getting more insight, I really don't have that much to criticize, or even I just would like more. If they made this into a docu miniseries, I would have been perfectly happy just getting that too. Almost also seeing, because it's hard to forget how much of an impact all these things had. And I almost wanted to just do a huge dive in. What made this series? What were the creative decisions on here? What was the cult zeitgeist at that moment when this stuff was being made?
Yeah, I kind of would have liked to have seen maybe this kind of very much directors roundtable, kind of like how Hollywood Reporter, they have the actors roundtables every now and then. Kind of just sit down with all the directors of these films, just individually, and kind of see where they were at when they were filming and making all these films.
Yeah, like I said, I think kind of that's my criticism, is just getting really more in depth, you know what I mean, with a lot of this stuff and a lot of the movies. And it's like, why did you do this, and what was the decision behind this, and okay, how did you make this, and what did you do with this? And that would have been kind of really each movie, maybe like you said, documentary. They talk about each movie for hour and a half, and you watch kind of a lot of that stuff, and them kind of break down a lot of those decisions. Just really them getting into depth with a lot of stuff there. It was awesome, seeing these people come back together again, talking about this, and talking about their characters, and talking about kind of how they got the roles. And one always common thing was a lot of the actors talking about is I heard about this Harry Potter shit. The books are really popular. Then I talked to somebody else about doing them, and then they were like, "Oh, you gotta do it. You gotta go Harry Potter, because what I mean, this is awesome." I talked to my family about it, and they said, "Yeah, I got this role to do Harry Potter or some shit. This boy wizard, I don't know what the fuck, but yeah, okay." And then they were like, "Yeah, you gotta do it." And that's kind of the common story that happened with a lot of the actors.
Well, imagine that's the same thing with Game of Thrones. So they're like, "Hey, I got this role in this HBO series. It's like Game of Thrones. It's talking about winter is coming or some crap."
Yeah,
I don't know. It's like dragons and some shit like that.
Yeah, brothers and sisters fucking. I mean, what am I supposed to be doing with this?
What am I supposed to do with that? What am I supposed to do with this? I'm afraid this is gonna be some porno stuff.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah, so I'm supposed to be in this, and but I think, I don't know, a reunion special of Harry Potter is probably going to be looked at more fondly than a reunion special of Game of Thrones, given how that ended. But
nobody cares. Nobody cares about Game of Thrones.
That show is dead to the cultural psyche. It is dead to us.
Yeah.
Well, Harry Potter is well remembered and still well beloved, despite Fantastic Beasts doing what they're doing, and we're getting a third Fantastic Beasts, but it's about Dumbledore this time.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think also another missed opportunity with this special is some of the kind of missed opportunities, because there was something funny that happened because discussing when they go into the love interest, them their characters becoming teenagers, and then
that's right, they didn't do shit with Katie Lung, who played Cho Chang in the fourth.
Yeah,
and
they
fifth.
didn't.
It was what the hell?
Yeah, they get into kind of those, and then even her character name Cho Chang is like, you know what I mean. I think that's the sound that Law and Order makes when the episode comes on. Yeah,
Okay, thank you for that. Now that's gonna be in my head. It's like
yeah,
Cho Chang. Dun, 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 dun. Oh
yeah,
motherfucker! Oh god, it actually fits.
That was also something I'm surprised they really didn't go into. But Harry Potter series actually, for the time when it was made, and since everyone is obsessed with it now, without saying anything, it was a fairly diverse cast. Fairly much. There's a lot of characters in there. There's a lot of different walks of life through Britain.
Everybody was white except for the
Whatever.
2 Indian twins, Cho Chang and Dean Thomas.
yeah.
Thomas is awesome. I will not have.
Oh, and the one actual black wizard shows up not until like the 6th movie, who's Kingsley Shacklebolt.
Yeah, like people talking about like a lot of the weird names she has for all the other like other white
I
characters.
mean, there's also like the weird coding, like the goblins and how much. Yeah, they love their money. They got their big noses. They're tiny. Wait, what?
Yeah, Jon Stewart. He
they're goblins.
recently talked about that. Yeah, I think an old clip of him talking about that resurfaced again. I guess because of the special. Or he recently talked about it, and then he was like, "No, I don't think J.K. Rowling's anti-Semitic or anything like that. I'm just pointing out something."
It reminded me a lot of George Lucas when he was doing the Phantom Menace with Watto. It was like short flying giant nose. Mind tricks don't work on me. Only money.
Yeah. Jar Jar Binks. It's like, let me add this character here. Or the people
the
in
fucking Trade Federation guys.
Yeah, it's like, okay. It's just, I think, yeah, okay, sure. Let's wrap this up. I think it was a good special. I think my only criticism is just it just didn't go deep enough with a lot of stuff. I just it's not maybe not as deep as I wanted to. But it was still very enjoyable. Still liked it a lot. Still interested to come back to these movies. Maybe want to go and watch all the movies again. I haven't seen all the movies in a long time. Maybe want to go watch them all again.
Yep, same.
Read the books again. And I guess, did I love it as much as something like maybe like the Fresh Prince special? Probably not. I thought that was like really, really hit. And then, the makeup between Will Smith and the original Aunt Viv, and the remembrance of James Avery, and how the whole cast was kind of breaking down, talking about that, and that just really hit. And they had like so much great chemistry, like the whole cast talking about the show and everything. That just really hit. But I still think this is very good and very strong. I give it a tune in. What about you guys?
Likewise, if were ever a fan of Harry Potter, notwithstanding, who J.K. Rowling has turned out to be as a person, this is an absolute tune-in if you're a fan of Harry, of the Potter franchise.
Dusk?
Again, regardless of how you feel about the current works or other aspects of the Harry Potter universe, you have to admire the cultural zeitgeist at the time, the effort that went into making these movies, and how consistently just dang good most of them were.
Yeah, for the most part, how consistently good. And out of this cast, there's not much controversy with the child actors on these films.
Yeah.
For the most part, they managed to grow up into somewhat normal adults.
Yeah.
And I think that's a little miracle in itself. And if you have any interest in Harry Potter when you were growing up, I think this will be a nice treat. And if you are a big Harry Potter fan, you've already seen this. You don't need to hear me. Yeah. You've already watched it. It's an hour
if you're
45.
a fan, you've already watched. Yeah, if you've already watched this like 4 times by now.
Yeah,
it's shorter than any of the movies.
Absolutely. But yeah, this is a definitely solid tune in. And aside from me wanting it to go more in depth, it's just reinvigorated me to kind of watch and maybe reread the books and see why I kind of initially read them and why I initially watched them.
Yeah.
And I can't wait for the new video game. Hopefully it doesn't suck.
Yeah, that's coming out this
year. The new
year.
video game really doesn't suck.
Yeah.
Please don't.
Yeah, I hope I'm excited for that. Yeah, this new video game coming out, Harry Potter. So I'm excited for that. I hope it's really good. And like you said, it's an achievement that a lot of these actors, they don't have any horror stories from on set. You know, they said they loved working with their directors, and they really, you know, Christopher Columbus, you know, he's great at working with kids and lets kids be kids. And when they were, you know, working on that movie, and then I think with Alfonso Cuarón, it's like, okay, hey, you guys are growing up now. I'm gonna treat you like you're a little bit older now. Okay, you can be, you know, this is more better material. And then as the directors keep going, it's like, hey, I'm gonna, you know, treat you more like, you know, older and everything like that.
I'm gonna wrestle you to the ground and fight you and break some ribs.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So I thought that was pretty awesome too. It's like, yeah, like a lot of them, Daniel Radcliffe, Emma Watson, you know, Rupert Grint, the whole cast, yeah, you know. And also Matthew Lewis, there wasn't a moment where it's like he talked about like, hey, I turned into a fucking.
There wasn't a moment where they were just in awe of, yo, Neville got hot.
Yeah, there wasn't. Yeah, it's like, hey, bro, I turned into a fucking smoke show. What the fuck? And we ain't gonna delve into that.
I could be James Bond now.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like, you know, they had to intentionally make me ugly because I got so hot during the film, and they had to purposely kind of put fake teeth in me and everything like that. Like, yeah. Yeah, good special. All right. So moving on from discussing Harry Potter, we're gonna be discussing Book of Boba Fett, episode 2. So here. In this episode 2 of Book of Boba Fett, we have a little bit more of Crime Lord stuff, a little bit more backstory stuff, get into a little bit more him learning to be more of a Tusken Raider, so we get a little bit more of the kind of rituals and the ideology behind the Tusken Raiders, their whole, you know, kind of process, which I like. I like seeing a lot of the Tusken Raider stuff, expanding upon them
instead
more.
of, you know, them just being an allegory for Native Americans.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So I thought that was a lot of good stuff there. And I thought the train sequence in this episode was a very strong action sequence as well. And I think one of my big criticisms, though, Ming-Na Wen, not enough of her. Love me some Ming-Na Wen. Always love to see her.
Yeah, she's not in this episode. She's barely in the episode.
Yeah, and I was like, damn. Because I think a lot of the episode... I mean, do you guys like the mix of them doing half backstory, kind of half present-day stuff, or...
I think it's a bit of an issue because just by the nature of that, one of those are going to be more interesting than the other. And so far in this show, the flashback story, it's much more interesting than the Crime Lord stuff.
I think so.
At least I'm thinking that.
Dusk, what do you think?
It's odd seeing this both prequel / after in his life because, well, if you've seen The Mandalorian, you kind of see where this is kind of going. And also, it also flirts with canon a lot. Jon Favreau has been very good at kind of reintroducing extended canon into it. And from episode 1 down, it's like, oh, yeah, he did escape the Sarlacc pit. Yeah, that definitely happens. They kept that. Oh, where's Dengar? Where's the guy? He helped him out and showed him. Oh, he's still the tribe? He's still doing this nonsense? Oh, I mean, this is kind of cool, but all right, I guess this is where you're going with this. It's so, on one hand, it's kind of interesting seeing where they're kind of going with it, and it's kind of neat. They have some good set pieces, but I'm kind of curious where they're going really with this.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I say with the Crime Lord stuff, I feel like maybe if you were really gonna do that stuff, maybe you should have just maybe done some episodes. Say it was kind of a little bit of a prequel series, and maybe focus on building that stuff up more, and then move on to, you know what I mean, then the present day stuff.
It's like they wanted to do 2 series about Boba Fett, and they couldn't decide which one was better, so they said, screw it, why not Zoidberg? Let's do it both.
No, possibly. Yeah, because I think with the backstory stuff, it's interesting to learn these different ways of the Tusken Raiders, and how that's. I think it's important to see, you know, to have that backstory because it leads into why he is the way he is now, and trying to be the leader he is now, and be this boss. But him as this boss, as this crime lord, I don't think it's really that. Maybe it's because it's only 2 episodes, but it's like it's not that imposing yet because it's like, okay, yeah, you did kill this dude, you took this title, but it's really kind of like it's you, and then it's these 2 other guys, and then it's your right hand woman, Ming-Na Wen. It's kind of like you 4, and it's like this doesn't really seem like that, you know, dangerous of a crew here. You know what I mean? Going around doing something. It's like feels like you guys could be taken out at any moment. It kind of feels.
Yeah,
like.
you almost were.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So it's kind of like, and then you're walking around, just I get you trying to make your presence known, but it's like, you know what I mean. It's like it doesn't really feel like that much of a big presence. Maybe maybe that's too big of a criticism at this moment. It only be in episode 2. I don't know.
He doesn't yet have the backing of the Mandalorian tribe, his clan.
Yeah.
There's a whole civil war that goes with that stuff. So we'll see if they introduce that too.
How much do you know about Boba Fett from the EU? There, Dusk.
I know some aspects of Boba Fett just because he's semi interesting. I know he attended his Dengar, who is another bounty hunter, in, if I recall correctly, in Empire Strikes Back. He's one of the bounty hunters there. He's wearing like the white kind of wrap on his head, along with the gun. That's Dengar. He flies a Corellian style ship as well. And I only remember any of this because I had someone I knew who was really into it, and they said, "Did you know at one point Dengar gets married and Boba Fett's his best man?" And I'm like, "Are you joking with me?" He's like, "Nope." And he just like showed me like where it is. And I'm like, "Well, I'll be damned." He attends the wedding. Good for him. And when he retires from being a bounty hunter. And then Boba Fett also killed a guy who was pretending to be Boba Fett and wearing Mandalorian-like armor. And he leaves that guy to die. And that's a whole other thing. So I also know that there's a Mandalorian civil war that kind of happens. Not the specifics. So I know some things about him. I know he has bounty hunter friends somewhat. But he's always been kind of a loner. I think he also has a daughter somewhere, but he's not very fatherly. He doesn't know how to be. There aren't that many Mandalorians left.
Right.
So I know that's the maximum I know.
Okay.
And he has a grudge against Solo even before any of the movies. But that's why he chased him, and more so because he gets fit into a Sarlacc pit for a while.
Yeah. There's a lot of criticism with the show, kind of right now, and I don't know if it's mainly because it's like with the Mandalorian, it's a blank slate, right? You don't attribute anything to the character because it's a brand new character. So
Absolutely.
You don't have any personal head canon already associated with the character. And then so maybe with Boba Fett, people already wanted Boba Fett to be this one thing already, off bat, and he's not that, and maybe people are upset he's not that. So I'm trying to kind of get a general sense of the criticism of the show. I would say this episode, I think I do like it better than the first one, so I do like it better there. And then bringing in the Hutt cousins, I thought was really good. You know what I mean? And them bringing in kind of this threat and setting kind of the elements of things and being threatening without being straightforward threatening, you know what I mean? Little veiled threats I thought was nice. I liked basically Bear Chewbacca coming out, you know what I mean, with the big gun. I thought, okay, we're going to probably get a good face-off between the two of them, maybe some point in the season, season finale some point. Maybe like a Oberyn Martell versus the Mountain situation kind of going on here between them. And I think that would be pretty dope. What did you kind of guys think about that character there coming in? Because I know that's a big character from the EU stuff too.
I didn't know shit about the EU, but it was a cool design.
Dusk?
I didn't even know he was an EU character.
Oh yeah. Apparently, I think he's like one of the bodyguards of Darth Vader or assassin Darth Vader.
Sure, why not?
Yeah, there's lots of stuff they do with the kind of the EU stuff. Even though the EU they say is not canon, they still draw stuff from the EU characters and stuff like that. Like one big character that a lot of people want to see that I think is coming in one of the shows is
in the Ahsoka show is Admiral Thrawn.
Admiral Thrawn, yeah, that's a big character from the EU stuff.
Admiral Thrawn was not only just in the EU; he also had his own trilogy book series. He was also in.
He was also in Rebels.
He was in Rebels. He's very old. He's one of the oldest expanded universe and also one of the most popular expanded universe characters. So that I understand.
Yeah.
He's very recognizable, even in Star Wars fandom.
Yeah. So yeah, like I said, thought that was a cool design. So it's setting the table for a lot of threats to come his way, and how is he going to fight all these from taking the throne. But it's just that like a lot of these other people have so much power than him at this point, and it just feels like okay, what's stopping them from just taking it now? I mean, like I said, it's just kind of just these four people right now. You know what I mean? Why not just stop him right now? You know what I mean? He's kind of base level. And it just feels like writing wise, it's just like, well, we don't want them to do that because, well, we don't want them to do that right now because he's Boba Fett. So, that I think that's a little lazy for me. What did you kind of think about this episode 2 there, Dusk?
I thought the effects and everything is Disney. What I expect from Disney Plus. It's fine, pretty good. They're treating their Star Wars by giving it an effect, but I think it's what I think I fall more in line with you, where it's where the writing and the story and why is this happening like this? I don't know a lot about the EU. I don't know a lot about Boba Fett, but I do know why is Boba Fett bothering with this? Why is he doing this? Why is the character doing this? I'm asking that a lot when I'm watching a show, and I think with a blank slate, you can develop a character. You can develop why are they doing this, and you're kind of for the Mandalorian. I know people enjoyed the show, but they sold it mostly as a gunslinging mercenary bound person, and it's really 85% of the time guarding Baby Yoda, babysitting Baby Yoda. It's really not any of that, and it just happens to have sparse little moments of that. And so I can understand why some people aren't really happy with the Mandalorian either. But at least it was with a new character. Boba Fett, there's a certain expectation. There are fans that are 30 plus years that know this goddamn character, and they've been waiting for him to make a genuine appearance. And this is he's fighting over the Hutts, and they're like, "What? Why does he care?" And so, but let that be said. I think that for the show it is right now, I'm curious to see where this is kind of going because I really don't know where this is kind of go.
Nick?
Yeah, I'm kind of right there with you. I wonder if this was a show to be binge watched, because I think this kind of slow burn, it works more for a show that's bingeable than it does releasing week to week, because you're 2 episodes in, you're a little more than almost halfway through the series, and I don't know what the fuck it's about.
Yeah.
Yeah. How many episodes of this series is it supposed to be?
6.
6? Okay.
Is it 6, or are they doing 8 like they did with Mando?
I thought they were doing 6.
Somebody look it up real quick if you can. Yeah.
7 episodes.
7 episodes.
7.
Okay. 7 episodes. You don't really have a lot of time to mess around here. 7 episodes.
No, you like so slow. Honestly, that even makes
7
episodes even worse.
Get to the fucking point.
Yeah, with 7 episodes, you need to even be more quick when talking about anything. You're like, all right, what should have happened in these 2 episodes should have been down in 1.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't really mess around. Like, you bring up the bingeable point. Yeah, maybe if you did have all these episodes.
You could pull this off with 10.
10?
Yeah, 10 episodes. You can take your time a little bit.
Yeah, and given that these episodes, given degree of time, they don't adhere to any specific time length. Like, some could be 35. This was pretty much an hour long.
Yeah, the first episode was 38. This was an hour.
Yeah, so, you got free range to kind of do however many hours of storytelling you want within each episode. You're not constrained to just doing an hour or 40 minutes or whatever. So given those constraints, given this kind of, it seems like you got free range to do kind of any time. If you could be more, do a lot more stuff with the story, develop a lot more stuff there. And like you said, why does he really care about being this crime lord too much? Like, what's really there for him? Other than like the power, what does he gain from being this kind of crime lord there? But the Tusken Raider stuff I still think is really good to see, kind of his stuff where they're learning the ways. We've seen this a lot of stuff before. Avatar, Dancing with Wolves, a lot of other examples of them doing this stuff before in media. But to see kind of how he's learning all these different skills and how this applies to the present day, I think is
again, if I remember my EU canon, and I don't know if I do, I'm just barely remembering any of it. But again, him being rescued by a bounty hunter, he pulls himself out of the exile, does the best he can, and he's helped by his friend in quotes, comrade in arms, and then him like resting up his tank, and he decides, all right, I need to get revenge, but I'm gonna go head home, and him just discovering as like Mandalore and dealing with that stuff, that would have been much more interesting to me than just a crime story and him trying to find the king or queen of Mandalore or doing something, or even just like, oh well, I need to stock up in this and I need to get better because I had a near death experience or something, anything. But this, it's like, all right, Tusken Raiders, that's cool, but this doesn't feel like something that would have happened for Boba Fett. It should have been like a completely new character that they were saved by Tusken Raiders, and then that affected him in that way. I mean, he's already an experienced bounty hunter. He would have already known some of these techniques, or he would already have survival techniques. He's hunted people worse, assumably, than Han.
Yeah. I see your point there. And
He's not a spring chicken.
yeah, that's for sure. I mean, but he still looks good. Tamir Morrison, 61 years old, still looks good. I mean, he does have those, those chiclets in his mouth, but he still, teeth are pearly white, for sure. You know what I mean? But yeah, I still think he's still, looks really good. And I do I like kind of when he's going to speak to these people, like when he goes to speak with the mayor, who was voiced by Robert Rodriguez. And I do like that kind of that back and forth, verbal sparring there. That happens, you know what I mean? It's like, okay, are you threatening me? Am I going to threaten you? Like, do I have to really, show what I'm going to do here? Like, you know what I mean? I do kind of like that stuff, and stuff was also with the Hutts as well when they came in. I did kind of love that stuff as well. It's like, yeah, don't worry, you know what I mean? We'll be back. Yeah, don't worry. You just sit right there. You know what I mean? I did kind of like that stuff. It's just overall, it's just like, where are we going with this? You know what I mean? What's kind of gonna be, his drive and his motivation here, in the series to be this crime lord? Yeah. I thought this episode was better than the first one. And I did like, a lot of good elements here, and I think that a lot of the good elements here, and I think they outweighed the bad for me. So I'd give it a stream it, not like kind of not like a tune in, but I still give it like a stream it for right now, because I do want to see where these kind of things develop. It's only 2 episodes, and yeah, I want to see where this kind of ends to see where I can judge all the series collectively, having seen all these episodes. What about you guys with this episode 2?
Honestly, with this, I'm bordering on a skip it. It's like you're almost halfway through the season. I have no idea what the point of this show is. I don't really give a shit about this interpretation of Boba Fett. You've got one more episode before I'm checking out entirely, honestly.
Damn. All right. Dusk?
It's almost serviceable, but I'm really on Nick with this. I'm really just gonna wait. I kind of want to see what the full context of what you're trying to sell me before you haven't really pulled me in. You had 38 minutes initially. This is your pilot. This is the beginning of it, and this is about Boba Fett. Again, he showed up. He's a fan favorite. He didn't say much. He didn't do much. This is your opportunity to really kind of live up to what the EU later did to his character and improved him over time and made him more interesting. This is time to hit the ground running. Really make this kind of interesting. And it's like they're taking their time with a show that's like, yeah. No, we'll get to that. Just wait. Just you wait, guys. Cool things are going to happen. Just you wait. And I'm like, no, you have 7 episodes. This needs to happen now. You don't have time. We don't have 24 episodes where we're just going to let this thing go out and it's 22 minutes. All right. Like, something will happen maybe by the end of episode 2 or 3. And I'll be like, okay, I guess I'll stick around a little while longer. That's why I left S.H.I.E.L.D. I stopped watching. I didn't even finish season 1 because I got bored. I got bored. 24 episodes, and then finally when it started getting good, it had burned me out. And I was like, you know what? I don't even care anymore. This has done it in like 2, where I'm like, you know what? I'll come back to it when it's done, and I'll just binge it.
Yeah, that's initially what happened to me with by like 3 episodes. I was just kind of bored, and I didn't pick it up again until I heard all the positive word of mouth of season 2 of that show.
Yeah, I see you guys' point. With the series, like it's not like other Disney Plus series, like each day, like each week. Oh, I gotta check out the new episode, right? When it was WandaVision, it was like, I really want to check out to see what they do on this episode of WandaVision. Really intrigued to see what they do. And I think, it's like, it's okay. I mean, all right. Wednesday, see what they do, Boba Fett. Not really I don't think a must-see every Wednesday for me to really kind of go check it out immediately or, get home and watch it. And, yeah, so I see what you guys are saying there on that front. I think it still has a chance to really turn around, be something really great, but it's just, maybe it seems like kind of where things going to go here and where things going to develop into. All right, so that was our final review of the day here for Book of Boba Fett, episode 2. We did a Rest in Power to Sidney Poitier, beginning of the show. Do it again here. Legendary actor, film legend, incredible man, and a lot of great films. He passed away at the age of 94.
God bless him.
Yeah, lived an incredibly long life, incredible amount of achievements, Oscar winner, and amazing amount of movies. In the Heat of the Night is the movie that I most know him from as well. I've seen that movie. To Sir, with Love, Guess Who's Coming to Dinner? Which they did a remake one time with Bernie Mac and Ashton Kutcher. So if you searching up
about that,
if you're searching up Sidney Poitier movies and you type in Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, don't click on the one with Bernie Mac and Ashton Kutcher. That's a remake. Don't click on that one. Click on the other one.
Don't bother with that one.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, legendary actor. Lived a long life. And we talked about other people too, Betty White and John Madden. The celebrity dies in 3 rule kind of happened recently there. But all 3 people really really terrific, legendary careers. Dusk, anything you want to say about Sidney Poitier?
Fantastic actor, groundbreaking in a lot of the roles he played, especially for Coming for Dinner. Iconic line. Honestly, there's nothing really I can say that would do justice to his legacy. So all I can say is rest in peace, man.
Yeah, rest in peace to him. Yeah. Love that scene when he slapped the shit out that dude. That's iconic. Love that scene. That's my favorite scene. One of my favorite scenes in movie history. Just slapped him. And then he gave him that good slap. You heard that sound? And he gave him that good slap. His neck turned all the way around and came back. Really amazing stuff there. So we're gonna get out here. Tomorrow, we're gonna be doing the Chucky series. We're gonna also be doing The Witcher season 2. We're gonna be telling you people what the hell happened in season 2 of The Witcher.
That's a damn good question.
Try to.
Yeah. Also, anything else Saturday? I think that's pretty much it. I could go see 355, I guess, but I don't know. That's getting.
Don't waste your time.
Yeah, I don't know if it's my time to go.
Don't. I'm gonna save you some time, brother. Don't waste your time.
Yeah, I'm thinking. Yeah, I just might as well just stay and binge the shows there, and then instead of going to see 355. So probably not going to be doing a review for that. That's the movie with Lupita Nyong'o and Jessica Chastain and Penelope Cruz.
Directed by Simon Kinberg, the director of X-Men Dark Phoenix.
Yeah. I don't know. He must got something against Jessica Chastain. Why he keep putting her in bad movies? He keep ruining her career. What the fuck, Simon Kinberg? Yeah. Jesus.
She turned him down.
Maybe that's what it is. Yeah, it's like I'm just gonna ruin you. Just direct every bad movie and just put you in it, I guess. So
I want them to hate you like I do.
Also, hope she gets better. By the way, Lupita Nyong'o, she announced she got COVID. So hope,
Oh,
yeah, hope she's doing okay. Hope she recovers well. Today, actually, I just saw Spider Man again. Actually, today, I just saw Spider Man again.
I saw it again last night too.
Yeah. Yeah. Dusk.
Still held.
Oh, what were you gonna say, Nick?
Yeah, I saw it again last night. Still held up.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Yeah, a lot of fun. Good to hear Andrew Garfield. He feels happy about talking about
He
the
can
movie.
finally talk about it now.
Yeah, he feels free and talking about it. And he says one thing that really helped him, brought him on, was the whole saving Zendaya in it, and that was kind of big to him in it. And also that line of saying "I love you" was improvised. You know what I mean? In it. So he just said, "Yeah, I just felt it in that moment. I just really felt it. Yeah." Yeah, and the scene where they're all swinging together, that is awesome. That is
That chills. That was
that
chills.
that is pretty awesome. Dusk. We did a best of, worst of. Do you have a best of, worst of list by any chance? Some of the best movies you saw, worst movies you saw this year.
Unfortunately, you caught me a little off guard.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no problem. Yeah. Maybe next week come in, with your list.
I would be more than happy to come in next week, honestly.
Yeah. Also,
Again, I tried to show up as much as I could. Ironically enough, I was kind of blizzard, but I took a friend out to a movie, and that movie was Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. Oh, okay, you saw that. Yeah, that's your second, third time.
That was
seeing
my
it?
second time. That was my second time seeing it.
Yeah. Did you like it better? Like it same? Like it less?
I caught a little moments and stuff I didn't get to see the first time, and I got to appreciate some of the subtleties some of the actors did. It's my opinion is still the same. It's a solid movie, but I do appreciate it a little bit more now.
Yeah. I don't know where they're gonna go from this with the Spider-Man stuff. They're talking about a lot of different directions. Giving Andrew Garfield his own movie.
I hope they do. Honestly, I think he deserves a movie.
He deserves a Spider-Man movie with a finished script and a cohesive vision.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think what's going to be the difference, if Sony's going to be the main one, what's going to be the difference between the other two Spider-Man movies that is going to be now? What's going to be the difference?
Well, with Andrew Garfield, he can actually just finish his dang storyline, and you can have a cohesive final wrap-up to his character arc. If they do a Tobey Maguire movie, that would be a nice kind of throwback to the Sam Raimi, giving him another chance to direct a superhero movie. And just, experience an older Peter Parker. I would be totally cool if they go down the line of his daughter's growing up to be Spider-Girl, and he has a girl and a boy, and he's has to juggle the married life while being Spider-Man. That's an angle we really don't get to see in movies and a lot of projects that's in the comics, and that was kind of done, and would be nice to see. And with Tom Holland, the world is his oyster, man. Yeah. Really, that's him getting it into, like, if you want to introduce new aspects of like X-Men or Fantastic Four, great way to introduce Fantastic Four. And credits. He shows up as an intern. Hey, I want to work.
I'd love to see that bond between him and the Human Torch.
Exactly.
I love that friendship.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice. Tom Holland, Short King. It was nice short. It was a nice Short King show. We had talked about Boba Fett, Tamir Morrison. He's 5'7", Short King. You know what I mean. Talked about Harry Potter, Daniel Radcliffe, Short King, 5'5". You know what I mean. So, good Short King show today. Very nice talking about a lot of them. Yeah. I hope they don't get too greedy with the multiverse stuff and trying to do all these other different things. They talk about all these spin-off projects and Electro and Doc Ock, and it's like
no, they did their job here.
Sony, you learn your lesson from the last time you tried this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We fulfill the obligations of the characters first, and then wait a while. Make it a nice cohesive end, and then just give it time.
Black Cat spinoff is what you're saying.
Yeah, doing a spinoff with all these different villains. Yeah,
they're like, no, we have to prioritize Echo getting her own series. You all remember Echo?
Well, that's Disney owns
Marvel Studio.
Yeah,
I know. It's still within that same vein.
After seeing Hawkeye.
Yeah.
All right.
At least we've seen her character. They're not just making her character. It's like giving it. It's like, okay, well, Black Cat. It's like, okay, she's a Spider-Man villain. And all of a sudden, we're just gonna give her a movie.
Honestly, if they did a Black Cat / whatever character, I would at least like to see that character first, and before they just make a show about them.
Yeah.
Black Cat is a great supporting character, and she's a good like temptation for Spider-Man.
Yeah.
She's really good at being a Catwoman to Batman, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't know who they're gonna cast. Yeah, some people want Anna Taylor-Joy. You know, like if they get an actress on the level of like Zoe Kravitz, you know what I mean, like as Catwoman, and like the Batman Robin Pattinson, I'm telling you, if I was Batman, that city is definitely folded. Fuck it, fuck Gotham. You got Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman. That fuck Gotham. I'm staying home. Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman. Fuck that.
I mean,
Gotham gonna be fun.
Yeah.
To be fair, in real life, Robert Pattinson and them are basically saying that to the movie. So much the director's gotten pissed at them, like, to stop banging and start acting in the movie, and they're like, you know, chemistry.
What are you talking about? The dating in real life? Are you talking about something?
Yeah, no, that was
Yeah,
the case of Tom Holland and Zendaya. That Amy Pascal straight up told him, "Hey, don't date while you're making these movies. It's just gonna make everything complicated."
Yeah.
And Robert Pattinson and her and the other woman have not adhered to any of that, and that's why the director's been pissed.
They're not dating.
No, then of course they're not dating, but you know, whatever.
I think Zoe Kravitz is with Channing Tatum now.
Is she now?
Yeah, she's
whatever.
Yeah, she's with.
Yeah, they're not doing any.
Whatever. I'm out of the loop. I don't care.
Got to keep up with the celebrity gossip, man. Got to read.
I don't care. They're celebrities.
Yeah. All right. Okay, we're gonna be heading out of here, people. Thank you, Dusk, for coming on, man.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you for showing up.
All right, thank you,
Nicholas' son. Thank you for showing up there, man. All right, people are gonna be heading out.
I can't really tell because my hair is also the same color, but I got the headband on.
Yeah. Nick. Oh, by the way, that was also in Cobra Kai. That was like, man, that's some cool looking gear they got. I'm like, I kind of maybe would want.
Oh yeah, they got product placement.
Yeah, I was like, I kind of maybe want me a hoodie, maybe a shirt. You know what I mean?
Themselves a champion sponsorship.
Yeah, I was like, maybe I want some of that. Yeah, I was like, that's pretty nice. Yeah, you know they're gonna be selling the hell out that shit. Yeah, Nick, where can people find you, man?
All right, you find me Twitter, Instagram at Night and Day Nick.
All right, and the Afternoon Tune. You can find us on all the social medias: TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. All the Afternoon Tune. We just had a big hit TikTok, 54K views on there. The video on there, which is pretty cool. Pretty nice. It's funny, we've been putting up all this content for TikTok, everything like that, putting all these different clips from the show. What draws people's attention the most? Some ass. That's what kind of gets people attention, discussing Gwen Stacy's booty in there. So that's what kind of got the most attention.
Wait, what?
You didn't. Oh, that's right. That's right. You're not on TikTok there, right? But we had a TikTok. So there was this tweet that happened that went viral. And then I was like, okay, well, hey, make sure to get the person who made the tweet the credit. But then somebody commented, was like, no, this is from Reddit. So I was like, okay, well, whatever. Whoever made it, I also give them credit. But I took that and then put some music over it and then put it into a TikTok. And then it was all about, somebody said that Marvel hired this Mexican artist to come on and draw for Spider-Man. And the one thing he did when he drew Spider-Man was give Gwen Stacy a dump truck. And they had different examples on there. Let me see if I can pull it up here. If I
got it. I see it.
Oh, okay. But yeah. So if you've seen that tweet, yeah, it's on our TikTok at the Afternoon Tune. You guys go check it out there. But yeah, that's what kind of happened. So 54K. So yeah, we're over 100 followers on TikTok. So we crossed that barrier there. So one of the resolutions that coming into this new year with, so a lot of stuff we can improve upon from last year. But I think we've been doing some good stuff. But just to get across at least 1K on a lot of the platforms that we have, Twitter, Instagram, and the followers and subs on YouTube and Twitch, things like that. So that's kind of one of the big things I want to do this year with that. So yeah, like I said, we're on all the social medias there. Also, you can send us an email at theafternoontune@gmail.com. Also, you can check us out streaming every Friday, every Saturday, typically at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Afternoon Tune. You can also check us out on YouTube. If you just type in youtube.com and then type in the search bar of the Afternoon Tune, we'll be right there. And hey, we always love you people to listen on the podcast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor. If you're on Apple Podcasts, make sure to leave a good 5-star review. That helps boost up the podcast and help give us more visibility. And to all you people out there, don't forget to stay tuned.